Hi, everybody. I am so excited to have you here. I am Renee Dominguez, the founder of Empowered Leadership, and we are just going to get started. Let's not waste any time. I'm so happy that you are here with me. And today we are going to be talking about mastering your communication skills. Don't you want to be seen and known as the expert? I know I always wanted to, and I always thought I was. Little did I know that I just didn't have all the right tools that were necessary for me to be seen as the go-to expert. So a little bit about who I am. As you know, I am Renee Dominguez, and I am a business and leadership coach. I am also a former burnt out person who used to work 80 hours, even sometimes 100. I hate to admit that, but I was leading teams globally and I had manufacturers overseas. So I would be up at 3 in the morning on conference calls, responding to emails, making sure that we were on schedule because I did not want to be the bottleneck. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. I finally said, you know what? Enough is enough. I was burnt out. Something happened to me that I did not think would apply. It's called the glass ceiling. Yes, I did hit it. And oh my gosh, I was shocked when I arrived to it because I did not think it would apply to me. I was a hard worker. I thought I was pretty cool. I got along with everybody. I outworked everybody. So I was pretty devastated to find out that no, glass ceiling does apply to you. So I decided I'm going to pursue my passions, not knowing it was going to lead me here with you. So a little bit about my journey. As I was sharing with you, I have spent 20 plus years burnt out, actually burning the candle on both ends, at work and at home, and trying to balance it all, trying to juggle it all. And I am sure a lot of you know that is not easy, right? Boy, we sure know how to spread ourselves thin. But you know what? I decided, you know what? I'm going to take charge of my life. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to get educated. I'm going to be that person that knows everything about everything. I'm going to be that go-to person. So what better school to go to than USC for my master's in business? When I decided to pursue being a coach, I was like, again, okay, how do I be the best at this? So I went and got my certification for that. I, again, spent my career being silenced, being not heard, not seen, not respected. And I didn't realize that this was happening to other people. I thought it was just me. And once I finally had the courage to share my journey with other people, I realized I was not alone. So what we are going to cover today. What does it mean to be an active listener? I know you may have heard that, maybe you haven't heard it, but we're going to really dial in on what does that mean and understand, what does your body language say? Not just about you, but what message is it conveying to the other person? And how to speak with authority. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have known this when I was in the workplace, but you now are going to know. So being a better listener. Listening is, it's the process of looking at the words, not just hearing it, but what's going on, what's the tone, how are they saying it, what's the dialect, are they speaking really fast and very tense, or are they speaking very slowly as if they're not quite sure what word they want to say next? So looking at all those different factors, and it's the nonverbal communication. As I was saying, what is their tone? And then you can interpret the entire message based off all these different elements that they were communicating with you because you were active listening. This one I love to share with people. Don't manipulate the conversation. This happens in meetings all the time. It's happened to me almost in every single meeting I've ever conducted. and also every meeting I've ever attended. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. And when we manipulate the conversation, this really exploits our role as a leader. What is that saying about us as a leader, that we cannot give the respect to the person speaking? We cannot give them a minute or two to share what is on their mind, because as leaders, that is our role. We are to empower others to speak. We want that diversity of that conversation taking place and hearing all sides of the pros and cons of whatever we may be speaking about. But when we don't allow others to speak, or we talk over them, we're pretty much telling them, we don't care what you have to say. I don't respect you enough to even bother wanting to hear what you have to say. And then this going forward makes the people around you not want to communicate, not want to be part of innovation, not want to be part of that diversification that is so important for growth, not just in a department, but as individuals. So this is a bonus here. Here you can get 6 tips inside of one slide. How awesome is that? And this I put together is just something I thought would be a really great cheat sheet on what things can we not do, or things that we should be doing when we're in meetings. So we are part of playing that role of being an active listener. I'm guilty of this 1000%. Looking at my phone and my computer. I think every meeting I've been to, I've had my phone and I've had my laptop with me. And that was part of that persona, that I'm super busy. I've got a lot going on, not just on my laptop with my emails and projects I'm working on, but also on my phone and the text messaging I'm getting. I'm just so busy, and I got to have all these um, things around me to let you know that I got a full plate. But I'm also in this meeting and I'm half paying attention to everything that's being said. Let's not do that. Let's put the phone down. Let's not even bring the laptop with us. I know that sounds like that's impossible, but we're going to cover some ground rules that will help you on executing this. How many times have we been in meetings and we are looking for distractions, or we see other people looking for distractions? That should be a good indicator to us that maybe we need to be better at our meetings if we see others looking around. And I love this part. Active listening is about listening, right? So let's use this rule of thumb, the 90-10 rule. Listen 90% of the time, speak 10% or less of that time. You're like, Renee, no, not possible. Yes, it is possible. Only at the time when when you're playing that role of being the active listener, and you really want to show that other person that you really respect them. And then, as we talked about in that first slide, paying attention to not just the words that are being said to you, but their tone, their dialect, their body language, their energy, what all is going on there. There's so many things that they could be saying to you that if you're just catching the words and not everything else that's taking place, you're missing out on so much opportunity to really help this person. And that is your role as a leader, is to help empower your teammates, your peers, your employees to really be the best that they can be, because then when they shine and they rise up, we all look better for it, and then we all want to do the same. Staying on topic. How many times have you been in a meeting or even just in a conversation with somebody and they get so off track on what the whole intent of the meeting was, or the topic of conversation? So it's really important to not just for yourself to stay on topic, but to be able to keep your meeting on topic, because once you start allowing it to go stray, you kind of lose everybody's attention and focus, and they're like, oh my gosh, here we go again, and everyone checks out. And that's probably when they start looking at their phone and their laptop. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I was sharing this with some of my clients. Don't offer advice unless asked. I received so much opposition on this one. They're like, if they're coming to me, I am just assuming they want my advice. True, they probably do, but when you just kind of throw it down, at them, it's not received very well and they get very defensive. And you don't want to do that as a leader. Just a quick tip on how you can maneuver from that is say, I heard what you said and I have some feedback for you. Are you open to hear that? Guard is down, their open arms saying, yes, tell me. Or another tactic you can use is, I hear what you're saying and I have some feedback for you. Are you open to that? They're pretty much the same. You can make it your own, but do you see how subtle that was and how that could be such a game changer in regards to how someone receives the information and then you not just kind of throwing it in their face of like, this is what you need to do and you're doing it all wrong and I have it all right with what I have to say. That is not how we want to be perceived. And then again, don't take notes. I'm I'm guilty. A lot of this I created because I've been guilty of it. My rule of thumb, and you know what? It could be a 50-50. I do believe it's important to take notes because you want to capture what is being said. You don't want to miss anything. But one thing I have learned since I had wrote this was letting everybody in the room know, of course, but just say, hey, I'm going to record this and then I'm going to have it transcribed later for my notes. If anyone would like to have a copy of my notes, I'll be more than happy to share them. But kind of just, you need to let everybody know what you're going to be doing. But get it transcribed. You could get it, record it, get it transcribed on like YouTube, or there's other platforms you can get it transcribed on for like pennies on the dollar. Very well worth the money versus you trying to write down what's being said, trying to remember it, and then you're always missing parts of the conversation because you're writing and trying to hold on what you want to say. Listening cues. Oh my gosh, we could all be better listeners, right? How many of us guilty? I am getting better at it. On when someone's talking to you, your mind is going and you're like, I cannot wait till it's my turn to say something. Or you just start talking. So there are 3 types of listening cues. Nonverbal, which is like I kept sharing, body language. What is their body language saying? There's so much that goes into this. And when you are on that side of being the listener, the active listening, just your body language, looking at them, looking in their eyes, nodding your head, just letting them know, yes, I'm here with you still. Quasi-verbal, which is using those filler words like, mm-hmm, yeah, uh-huh, letting them know like I'm still here with you present and I'm acknowledging what you're saying. And then just the verbal, asking those open-ended questions at the end. And open-ended because then it's not you giving your opinion or judgment of them. You're asking them questions just to clarify that you understood what was being said. And again, that's huge. And these are great. These are great tools, everybody. And I really wish that the leaders I had worked for had these skill sets because I would have loved to have had them. And we learn from who we work with and who our mentors are. Unfortunately, they really weren't really good with any of these, but it's okay. You are now. What is your body language saying about you? Now, this is about what messaging are you putting out there with your body language? And I had no idea. And we do this subconsciously on how we carry ourselves, our body mannerisms. And it's so interesting. And I so love this topic. So it's body language. Again, take this for what it's worth. It's not 1000% going to be like, if someone's hunched over, it means that they have low self-confidence. It could just be that they're tired and they have back pain. But in general, just as a rule of thumb, we could say when they're hunched over, they're kind of like, I give up. I gave up. I'm tired. I'm done. My self-confidence is at a low. I just have nothing left in me. And then when you see someone hunched over, you want to be able to help them. You want to help lift them back up. And so just pay attention to that. And then when we're hunched over, why are we hunched over? We may want to figure that out within ourselves. When we're sitting crossed arms or our legs, we're putting a wall. And here I said it's a lack of self-respect. I feel like it's also saying, this is my wall. I am not going to 100% fully embrace what you have to say. I kind of protect myself. It's kind of like, it's just a guard. And it's something we want to be cognizant of what we're doing, especially if it's something like we're talking to somebody we really respect. We're talking to someone who is an authoritative figure. We're talking to someone who can really have a positive impact in our career, in our life. And we want to be mindful. What are we doing with our arms? What are we doing with our legs? What position is our body? What message are we conveying without even knowing it? And I love this next one. A smile is worth a million words. I enjoy it when I am in a meeting and the person comes in with a smile in their face, and that energy that they are disseminating out to all of us. You can't help but kind of be a little bit lighthearted, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to be engaged. This is going to be a good meeting. Versus the opposite. Someone comes in huffing and puffing and stomping, slamming themselves down, their laptop, their books down, and then they just start let everybody having it. Everyone's quiet, right? We all kind of shut down. No one's going to say a peep. There's no engagement. No one's really going to be open to sharing any information, and they're going to be using as few words as possible because they're like, I don't want to get in any more trouble, and I don't want to get this person upset any more than they already are. And as a leader, let's not present ourselves that way. Let's not be that person. Let's just smile. We could be all having bad days, but in the end, are we going to die? No. And this one, I was touching on this part, body facing. So part of like emotional intelligence and understanding the body language is I like to use this analogy for when we're interviewing people. So the person sitting in front of me and my body is this way. And I'm pretty much saying, I'm halfway paying attention and halfway listening to you. I'm the authoritative figure here, and I'm not really going to give you my whole attention. I'm going to pretty much skim through this and be on my way. I'm a busy person. I like to use that analogy because that really states a lot. And the opposite end is someone who is an authoritative figure and we are having our body face a different way. We're telling them we really don't really respect what they have to say, or we don't want to be there. Again, this goes into so many different areas, but just be cognizant of what your body language is doing and saying. And then speak like a power leader. So I had this workshop I created and I conducted called How to Avoid Being Man-Interrupted. And a good way to describe what being man-interrupted is when Kanye West took the stage oh my gosh, I forgot her name. Taylor Swift won, I think it was a Grammy. And he took over saying that Beyonce should have won that award. And that was being man-interrupted. So when you're in a meeting and the next time you have someone start talking over you or wanting to start taking over your meeting, you could just say, hey, John, hey, Jane, I know I will appreciate your feedback, but can you hold off until I'm done? You just set the stage right there for everyone else to know that I see you, I hear you, but this is my meeting. I'm going to carry on with my agenda, but I will get back to you. Now, everybody knows, and hopefully for the most part, no one else is chiming in. Another thing you could say is, there are a few more essential points I need to make. Can you delay while I do that? Or you could just say, hey, we are creating a parking lot, which is kind of like your table and everything for later at the end of the meeting, or you may want to conduct another meeting. So you're just going to put that off to the side, but then everyone knows that they're still being heard, and you're not. Sometimes ideas come up and you kind of just want to spit them out so you don't forget them. So at least you can create a place where we can put them in a parking lot and or table them for another time, but you're still owning and conducting your meeting and not allowing anyone to take over or hijack it. Now, do you know what your tone of voice is conveying? Oh my gosh. This is a good one. So for women, when we are nervous, or we're not sure about something, we'll do what is called an upspeak. And that is where our pitch will go higher at the end of a statement, which then makes it sound like a question. And as a power leader, we want to be able to speak with authority. We want to be seen as a go-to expert. We want to have that visibility as a leader. But it all starts with us. And how do we convey what we're saying? What is our tone of voice saying? A great example of this could be, here is me saying it like a statement. Today is Monday. She said it with such conviction that, yeah, today is Monday. I do it with upspeak. Today is Monday. That person's now wondering, is it Monday? I guess I need to go and ask someone else, or I can just look on my phone. But you didn't come off with conviction with what you're saying, because you used that upspeak. Even though you knew it was Monday, your tone of voice said something differently. And again, smile, warm up the room. It warms up your voice as well, especially when you're nervous. We kind of like get really tight, and our face will get tight. Just breathe and smile. And oh my gosh, I love this next one. Monitor your inner monologue or your inner dialogue. We could have thoughts that we're saying that are negative. Even though we may not say them out loud, that energy that we project, that's received by the others who are in the vicinity or who we are directing our comment or statements to. They're picking up on that energy. So really monitor, what's your mind saying, and try to always be positive about it. And you feel like you're really upset about something, just write it out so you can let it go. But you wrote it, so you're like, I'm going to come back to that at a later time, but you didn't have to hold on to it. And I really hoped you enjoyed these tips. If you feel like you want to know more, you're like, I'm ready to step up my game, then I am offering a free strategy call. And what I do, this is to serve people who want something that's a customized approach for them. Everybody's different and everybody is at a different place. So this is no cookie cutter program that I have. It's very much customized for each person. Everybody's at a different level, and I want to make sure that I meet you where you are, and together then we will strategize a plan for where you want to go. So if you're ready to learn, you're like, I want the necessary tools so I can be heard, so I can be seen, so I can be respected. I want to claim my seat at the table. I want to grow in my career. And I also want to have sanity in my personal life. I don't want to take home all my frustrations and stress I get from work and bring that home, because this is really important, and I hope everyone really hears this. When we are lacking, when we feel we are lacking in an area at work, we try to overcompensate that at home. An example would be like, I don't feel like I'm getting the well-deserved respect I deserve in my workplace. So I'm going to demand it from those in my personal life. And it's usually from the people who are closest to us. And we don't even know we are doing that. So this is something else to be mindful of. And this is really important. You have to be open to being coachable. If you are the person that's like, nope, not me, doesn't apply, no, that's not me, I don't act like that, I don't do that, I don't have that problem, then that's totally fine. Coaching's not for you. And if you're looking for a quick fix, I'm not your person. There's nothing quick that happens that is worth your investment. It took years to get to where you are now, and it may have been years in the making of these issues coming up. So it's going to take some time to work through them and then rebuild. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not looking into how you're showing up as a leader. You just think like, this is just what I do. This is what I was taught. Even though it's not working for me, I'm going to stick to what I'm doing. And coaching's not for you. And if you're not willing to try new things, you're not willing to go and work outside your bubble, you're not willing to take that leap of faith, then that's okay. Then coaching's not for you. So if you like to reach out to me, follow me on Instagram, on Facebook at Power Leadership. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to put a link in the email so we can connect. And if you're interested in a strategy call, I would love to hear from you.